This year I will be more thoughtful of my fellow man, exert more effort in each of my endeavors, professionally as well as personally. Take love wherever I find it and offer it to everyone who will take it. In this coming year, I will seek knowledge from those wiser than me and try to teach those who wish to learn from me. I love being alive, and I will be the best man I possibly can. Duane Allman wrote those words January 1st, 1969. He was 22 years old. He was in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, where he had signed a contract or was about to sign a contract with Rick Hall. The previous November, he had really broken through with his blistering solo on Hey Jude. That gave Duane the opportunity to start the Allman Brothers Band. This is Duane at Atlantic Studios in New York City, January 1969. This is a little bit after when Duane wrote that piece. He's on the precipice of ultimate stardom. And so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at Duane in January of 1969, a photograph of January of 1970, and then a photograph from January of 1971, just to give you a sense of, kind of how he fulfilled that promise in his life. And this is Duane, Aretha Franklin sessions. This is the session where he laid down It Ain't Fair, which is just gorgeous. And shout out to Tedeschi Drux Band that fucking slays that song these days. So Duane, he's in Muscle Shoals and he is working on a solo album. And it's not going super well. He doesn't jibe real well with Rick Hall, who is a pretty demanding studio producer and understands how to crank out hits, how to make things work. Duane was a lot more of a free spirit. Sometime in early February, J-Mo comes out and he moves in with Duane. They're in a cabin on, I think on Lake Wilson. And they begin their musical partnership. Barry Oakley shows up also sometime in February. J-Mo describes it as like hearing Mahavishnu Orchestra for the first time. And I think many of us who've heard Mahavishnu Orchestra the first time can say, all right, that was a holy shit moment for the musicians, Duane and Barry and then J-Mo. And they carried that through. Duane leaves Muscle Shoals with J-Mo in tow and goes to Jacksonville sometime in late February, early March. And that's when they formed the Allman Brothers Band at the Gray House there in Jacksonville. Duane had a contract with Phil Walden out of Macon, Georgia. They relocate to Macon, Georgia, and they go on the road relentlessly for the next 2.5 years to break their album at Fillmore East. This is January 26th, 1971. This is at the University of California, Riverside. That last photograph, Stephen Paley, who took a ton of great shots in the era and of the Allman Brothers in that era. This is a guy named Bruce Henderson, I think, who was a student at the University of California, Riverside. Critic Joel Selvin, who's written a ton of books, covered this show really extensively in the student newspaper. Fantastic source for me, reference source for me for Play All Night. But this is the Allman Brothers in January of 1970. They're on their first trip west. Play some shows mid-January, B.B. King at Fillmore West, and then making their way down to, eventually they play the Whiskey in L.A., and they play this free show at the Commons, if you will, in Riverside, California. So much about this photograph that I dearly love. I love, if you can see it, you'll see Barry's kind of marching toward Dickie, who's, leaning back, and you'd say he's hitting a note, right? Duane is leaning in, concentrating on his piece. Anytime I see photos of this era, I look closely at what the band members are doing, how they're interacting, because the music sounds like they're paying a lot of attention to each other or to their craft, and the photographs certainly reflect that. Just quick note on this photograph. Bruce took a lot of pictures from the opposite vantage point where you could see the full lawn, and this looks like it's just a jam or something. They're just setting up, hanging out. There's several hundred people there in the audience as they're playing. This is a pretty epic event for the students. Several guys got up on stage and got to play with the Allman Brothers. They just had a real blast. University of California, Riverside. And then on the way home, that's the photographs that they took at the Grand Canyon. If anybody's seen those, I've talked about those a lot before around here. January 1971 found them at Fillmore West again. This is a Jim Marshall photograph. Phenomenal shot. of the Allman Brothers at Fillmore West in late January 1971. I want to say it's 28, 29, 30, 31. One of the shows I think was at Winterland instead of at Fillmore West. These were tune-up shows for recording at Fillmore East. They had booked to record at Fillmore East in March of 1971. Anything that they played that spring was a direct rehearsal for those shows, for that recording that they were doing. So they go to Fillmore West. They have 4 shows. These things have been released. They're really great. They sound fantastic. And the coolest thing to me is the guy who wrote Play All Night, Duane Allman, and the Journey to Fillmore East. There's my plug for myself. Hearing how the songs change and how they develop. The band was really pushing hard by January 71. They had at that point been on the road just about 2 years, just shy of 2 years, 200, 250 gigs a year, 300 days. They were road hardened, and they were a tight band. And so the Allman Brothers, they were ready when they got to Fillmore East to record those shows. And, the thing that I will point out to you that I think about every time I listen to that record is that is an entire record done on the first take, where the stakes were as high as they could possibly be. For them, the most important audience in rock, or the most important stage in rock at the time, on Bill Graham's Fillmore East stage. And they nailed it. They nailed it. And of course, I think everybody knows the album comes out in July of 1971. By October 29th, Duane is 24 years old. Duane's dead. And all of the success that he had worked for with this band, all of the success they had all worked for collectively, he missed out on all of it. But in 1969, he wrote himself a goal, or a series of goals. And goals matter. Goals don't mean you're going to achieve exactly what you want, exactly how you think they're going to go. But you set a point in the horizon and say, I'm going to work toward that. Duane did that. And I think that's pretty impressive, especially writing these words as a 22-year-old man. There's some thoughts for you. It is January 1, 2026. And I just want to wish everybody that's hung on this long best going into the new year. There's a dose of vitamin ABB for you, Duane Allman. 3 Januaries. Vitamin ABB, Duane Allman. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Bonus cut, y'all. Here is a short of Duane from those studio sessions in Muscle Shoals, January-ish, 1969. This is Dimples. Full cut is on the YouTube. Long live the Allman Brothers Band.
You walk, I love the way you talk, I love the way you walk. You're my baby, got my eyes on you. I see you every day, I see you every day, I see you every day. You're my baby, got my eyes on you. Say, baby.